Hypergun is a new roguelite first-person shooter. The game starts you out in a level with one gun and says go survive, shooting everything you see and having fun. What makes the game fun is the intense action and that your gun will continually change as you pick up new attachments on the fly. The levels are procedurally generated, which helps to keep the levels always feeling new to the player, as you might return to level 1, but it won't look the same way as you remember it. As you progress throughout the map, you'll enter combat arena rooms. Here you'll need to contend with a large amount of foes before you can get to the next room. You'll fight enemies that will rush your position to try and hit you with melee attacks, small enemies on the ground, flying enemies that are hard to hit, and then you'll have larger foes that will rush in on you but carry a big shield to block a lot of your shots. You'll want to make use of the explosive barrels to do more damage to them, or aim for their legs. You can get them to charge at you and quickly move out of the way, essentially baiting them to get in a position next to the explosive barrels and then fire off a few rounds to blow them up. The variety of the enemies helps to create fun and chaotic combat encounters. One enemy class I am not a fan of are the shield-like sharpshooters that kind of remind me of the jackals from the Halo series. Here, you can only hit them when they are moving or when they peek their heads out from their shields. This can be hard as you're continually moving throughout the level, so you're almost guaranteed to get hit if you stand still. This is a minor annoyance, but not detrimental to the combat. As you defeat enemies, they will occasionally drop bits and hyper coins for you. These are the two different forms of currency in the game. Bits can be used while you're on your own run, and then you can use those in the shops to buy items. Hyper coins you continually earn, and you can keep those upon death. Hyper coins allow you to upgrade your character's skills and unlock new characters to play as. One of my favorite starting skills is the hot coffee grenade. I like the humorous twist on throwing incendiary grenades, but instead, it's a cup of hot coffee. Each of the four characters have their own starting model gun, whether it's an SMG, assault rifle, or others. And those guns continually change as you pick up more pieces on the fly, making the normal SMG turn into something completely different on each run. As you progress throughout the map, you'll unlock different buffs to your weapons that will improve their power or accuracy, along with different secondary fires like an EMP shot or rocket launcher. Earning upgrades on the fly is really satisfying. It gives you a good amount of progression within the immediate as you're in the levels trying to beat everybody. Some rooms will provide you with a level map, and these assist you to let you know if you missed any rooms before you face off against the final level boss. Some rooms will have locked chests that will require a key to open them, and they can also net you some really good upgrades. In addition, you'll find shops to buy more shields and health to help you be able to be more powerful before that final boss encounter. I like that this game has two forms of progression, with providing progression in the short and long term. As you're on your run, you have bits you earn where you can buy useful items in the shops, and then upgrades for your guns. In the long term, you have hyper coins that help you continually always have something to work towards, even upon death. Now, I like the idea of shooting my way throughout a level and then meeting a boss at the end. Something large and climactic to bookend the level. The first boss I fight in Hypergun I just thought went on for far too long. I felt like I was fighting a Year 1 Destiny boss with how much it took to take him down. And another issue I found with this boss is that if you have decent weapons, and some good amount of health, you're not going to have too much trouble taking him down, as his attacks aren't really that hard to block, so the fight really becomes very tedious and boring. Here's some highlights from the fight. It just doesn't vary too much. Now, since there is a lot of randomness and variation within each run because of the procedural generation, some of you may not experience a quite so bullet spongy encounter with this final boss, but I always ended up finding him be just taking too many bullets to be able to take him down. I feel like a shorter encounter and a more dangerous encounter would have made this fight more exciting. Beating this boss grants you with another level, and something I enjoyed was how the game threw many of the same enemies I had just faced before, but better yet, they threw in some new ones into the mix, and it made the combat even more chaotic. In level 2, they added these slime monsters that continually break into smaller pieces until you kill them in their tiny form. You now have wizards that like to teleport around the map, and the way they attack you is by throwing a spell at you that attacks you from your feet, so you need to be on your toes. The second level also sees the addition of traps. The second level presents you with these fire spinning traps you'll need to keep an eye out for. The awesome thing about the traps is that those traps will not hurt just you, but they'll also kill the enemies that are coming at you. So you can use this to your advantage if you keep moving around the room, causing all the enemies to then follow you and then run through the traps, dealing a lot of damage to them. And this goes without saying, but the AI isn't too smart here. Their job is to hunt you down and try to overpower you in numbers, rather than tactics. Think more old school Serious Sam, a large amount of foes rather than smart enemies. The second level's boss is much different than the first. You face off against a hard-hitting creature that will continually hunt you down and not let you stand in one place. He's harder but better to fight, as I felt like this was a much more challenging fight and one that I just was not prepared for the first time I fought him. The environments is where I think a lot of people are going to notice the repetition within the game, and it's going to hook in really fast. Within one run, you might run into the same room several times, and I do think more variation on the environments could have really helped them from looking so samey. Something else I wanted to make note of is the game's attempts at humor. For example, the inclusion of the hot coffee as a grenade. It is silly, and I wish this game kind of took everything like that and really played it up. The enemies seem extremely serious, and I think a more goofy style would have definitely further helped this game stand out from other shooters. I do appreciate what is there, but more would have definitely benefited the experience. Also, I think an addition of co-op would have greatly improved the replay value here. Being able to go through the dungeons with online and offline co-op would have been delightful. Potentially you could come up with different strategies by mixing and matching different character classes and weapons. This would have been the perfect opportunity too to implement a split-screen co-op feature, and put this game on the Switch. Hypergun is releasing on the PC for $15 and coming to the Xbox and PS4 this fall. This is a fun shoot-'em-up first-person shooter that throws realism out the door and goes for more of an arcadey, over-the-top experience. I do like the act of fighting through levels, gathering new attachments to improve my guns. I like that these visibly change your gun, along with providing you new secondary fires or better attack power. The bits earned from defeated enemies help to give you progression in the short term, while the hyper coins that you earn will give you progression in the long term. While the environments can quickly get repetitive, the game is at its best when you're in one of the action-filled rooms working your way to the boss. While some bosses are better than others, the fights leading up to them are the best. I do think the addition of co-op or split screen would have greatly helped the replay value here, but if you're looking for something fun and quick, then I'd recommend you check this one out. For everyone else, wait for a sale. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, check out some of my other ones. If you'd like to help support the channel, check out my Patreon page at the end of this video in the description box below. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.